basic processes of the proposed technology in the dynamic mode. Figure 2 shows the dynamic technological scheme of processing of dumped phosphogypsum with GREC allocation. The technology can be divided into 6 stages. At a first stage, phosphogypsum delivered from dumps position 10 and loaded into the hopper position 11, from where by continuous flow it enters the repulpator position 12. There, also while maintaining a certain ratio of solid-liquid in the resulting pulp, is supplied recycled water, which comes from the solid-liquid separation unit, position 3-1. Further, the formed pulp from position 2-1, pumped with a continuous flow to the sorption leaching column, position 2. At the second step is carried out sorption leaching of the Re from phosphogypsum in pulse columns position 2. For this feeds through a distribution comb a phosphogypsum pulp to the bottom of the column and strong acid cation resin. It means sorbent in H+ form from the top of the column. Sorption leaching of the Re from phosphogypsum is carried out by a counter-movement of the pulp and sorbent, respectively pulp bottom-up and sorbent top-down of the column. The sorbent, saturated with Re, is accumulated at the bottom of the column too, and via airlift position 2-1 is unloaded to desorption column position 4, while phosphogypsum pulp, purified from impurities and Re, exits from the top of column to a solid-liquid separating unit. At the third step is carried out separation of the solid and liquid phases of the washed phosphogypsum pulp on the unit of continuous action position 3-1. For example, centrifuge, intended for separation of liquid and solid phases and washing. In this step, obtaining washed gypsum plaster position 3-3, which first accumulate in the hopper position 3-2, and then directed to produce gypsum binder and products thereof, construction dry mixtures, gypsum partition boards, plasterboard, etc. Circulating water, which is directed to the repulping stage of phosphogypsum in position 2. At the fourth step is carried out desorption of Re. For this, saturated sorbent from the column position 3 enters from above into the desorption column position 4, and the desorption solution through the distribution column continuously fed down the column 4. Desorption of Re is carried out at counter-current flow of desorption solution and sorbent, respectively solution bottom-up and sorbent top-down of the column. Sorbent liberated from Re is accumulated at the bottom of column 4 and via airlift position 4-1 unloaded in the sorbent regeneration column position 5, and desorbate solution containing rare earth elements is poured over the top of the column tube 4 in the precipitation reactor position 6. At the fifth step is carried out the sorbent regeneration for reuse. For this purpose, the washed sorbent from the column position 4 by the airlift enters the top of the regeneration column position 5, and regenerative sulfate solution through a distribution comb enters the bottom of the column. Thus, the regeneration of the sorbent is carried out in counter-current flow of the regenerating solution and the sorbent, respectively solution bottom-up and sorbent top-down of the column. Ready for reuse sorbent accumulates at the bottom of the column 5 and by airlift position 5-1 unloaded in the sorption leaching column position 2, and the sulfuric acid solution is poured through the top of the column 5 into the circulation pump receiver position 5-2, and after strengthening sulfuric acid is returned to the recovery column position 5. At the sixth step is carried out an allocation of rough GREC from desorbate and separation from the liquid phase. GREC precipitation process is carried out in the desorbate precipitation reactors in continuous mode. To this, desorbate through the top outlet of desorption column position 4 enters the reactor position 6, which is fed of the precipitator, the carbonate salt solution. Next, The resulting GREC suspension separated from the liquid phase in the unit of continuous action, for example a centrifuge position 6-2, with the possibility of washing the formed precipitate. At this step is obtaining revolving sulfate solution, which is recycled back to the stage of desorption of Re. Wet precipitate of rough GREC, which accumulates in the container position 6-3 and then directed to the extraction refining of impurities and the separation for group concentrates and individual rare earth compounds, obtaining master alloys with the rare earth metals, etc.